We are keeping a very close eye on lots of breaking developments in Ukraine. And here with us now to talk about all of this is the former Brexit Party leader, Nigel Farage. He is at CPAC there in Orlando. And, you know, I first have to ask you, Nigel, it's great to have you here. You understand this fight for freedom. I have to get your thoughts about the Ukrainian insurgents, the fact that the citizens there in this country, it's been remarkable because so many people were saying that the Russians would just come over because they're so strong militarily, would take them over. But these insurgents are fighting, and they're fighting with their hearts out, and they are fighting young and old, picking up arms, defending their country. You can relate to that fight.
Yeah, I mean, look, what they're doing is remarkable. I think we all thought that actually Kiev would fall in no time at all, that Russia would so heavily outgun the Ukrainian forces. But no, people are fighting for their homeland. And it says this to you: even if the Russians do militarily conquer Ukraine, there'll be a civil war. There'll be a fight back going on there for years and years and years. And all this tells me that Vladimir Putin has made an absolutely disastrous decision. It makes me begin to wonder whether this man still possesses the rational function. And, you know, if he carries on the way he is, well, what next? Is it Poland? Is it the Baltic states? So I think all of us in NATO must stand firm against this. And the breaking development that Turkey have blocked Russian naval vessels this morning is a very good sign, because, of course, also, everyone forgets this, but Turkey is a NATO member.
Yeah, absolutely. When I heard that, I thought, wow, this is really remarkable. And hopefully it sets the trend to other NATO countries. There are 30 of them, as you know. What's the reaction from everybody in Europe? I know you're now stateside, but obviously very much based in Europe, too. What is the reaction over there about what's happening in Ukraine? And also their thoughts about the American president and what I think has not been leading from the front, but leading from behind.
Well, obviously, everybody in Europe is horrified at what Putin has done, absolutely horrified, but now deeply fearful it could go even further. And the big question is, you know, let's be frank about this. NATO is nothing without America. And the way that President Biden withdrew from Afghanistan last year, handing the country back effectively to the Taliban without even referring, even talking to your oldest allies, military allies, us, has left a big question mark. Are America still prepared to lead? Now, I know there'll be many people watching this who'll say, hey, you know what? Ukraine, Poland, Estonia, it's all a long, long way away. But if the Western alliance does not hold firm right now under vital American leadership, well, next we'll be looking at China going into Taiwan. This is a very, very big moment, and all those doubts about whether America still wants to lead the free world that have been there since Afghanistan need to be ended. And I would say this: President Biden should be in Europe now, sitting down with other NATO leaders, but he's not.
Yeah, and in fact, he's in Delaware as we speak, which seems awfully odd to even Americans. We're sitting there saying, why is he not in the Situation Room? Because this is such a pivotal time for the world. Is there a sense that this president has been very lackluster? He seems to be following Europe in so many ways, Nigel Farage. And in fact, remember, the EU were the ones who basically were talking at first about the sanctions against Putin and his foreign minister Lavrov, and then it was America following. Usually it's the other way around.
Yeah. Look, you know, we've been used to the fact since 1945 that America is the lead player in the Western world. We don't always agree 100% with what American presidents say, but we always find a way to work with America under American leadership. And right now, there is none. And that potentially, I think, for all of us in the world, is a disaster. So somehow, somewhere, can somebody please put that president of your country onto an aeroplane and tell him to take the lead?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there are a lot of people who would like to see this. What about the NATO response unit, that we know that the forces are essentially, and they are up to potentially 40,000 strong, that are now saying they're going to go out, they're going to protect the NATO countries, as we've talked about, Turkey, of course, as you mentioned before, many of the other ones as well. Yeah. Do you think that will have an impact? And again, it doesn't change America leading from behind, but will that show a united front and maybe a front of force against Putin?
Well, I see what's happening. There are some troop deployments to those eastern NATO countries, but it needs to come with a bit more assuredness. It needs to come with a statement that this absolutely is our red line, and if you dare to encroach into those NATO members, we will fight you. I've not heard that talk yet.
Yeah, you're right. You know what? And we feel the same way too, Nigel, because you want to hear a message when you are dealing with a thug like Putin. I want to see our president, I want to see him pounding his fist and saying, do not cross that line. We need a Churchill. Where's a Churchill right now, right?
Well, look, the truth of it is, if Donald Trump was in the White House, none of this would be happening. We've got a very, very weak leader who let the side down in Afghanistan. And hey, you know what? We're still asking ourselves a question. Is he really, really leading NATO? Are we genuinely going to defend our fellow members of this organization? We need something now, because I tell you what, this will now be part of Putin's calculation. He may well think that the West hasn't got the resolve to fight. So this needs settling incredibly quickly. Yeah,
absolutely. And it is important because how much of a concern is there that he will proceed real quick, that he's going to go well beyond the Ukraine borders? Is there a big concern right there, of course, in England and everywhere over there in Europe?
Well, luckily, we do have the Ukrainian forces and militants fighting back hard, which is delaying things. Look, none of us know. None of us can put ourselves in the mind of Putin right now. If he does take Ukraine in the next few days, who's to say what's next? Are we ready? Are we prepared? Do we have a leader? This is urgent.
It absolutely is. Well, Nigel Farage, thank you so much for joining us on this very important day. You understand the fight for freedom, and we're so grateful that you're with us. Thank you.